See, back when The Daily Show started, it was a comedy show first. Jon Stewart was a comedian by profession. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Samantha Bee, John Oliver. They're all comedians who became interested in politics and media criticism. From the right, it was perceived as comedy being weaponized against them. And so in response, they tried to weaponize that back. And conservative comedians now have to perform at shows specifically geared towards pro-Trump crowds. All their jokes are reactive in nature. So the problem is that the political side came first and the comedy came second. Going back to their bits about AOC being dumb, that's probably honestly because some people see her as the ideological opposite of Trump. And since we always call Trump dumb, they want to call her dumb, despite that not really fitting. It's not even close to new. Fox News first tried this in 2007 with their half-hour news hour, which was,
Tonight's top story, dispelling reports that she would staff her White House with longtime cronies and political appointees. Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton vowed that if she becomes president, she will surround herself with a diverse, multi-ethnic, multi-generational group of angry lesbians.
During this week's Miss Universe pageant in Mexico City, Miss USA Rachel Smith was booed by a mostly Mexican audience. Probably because for the pageant's talent competition, she built a 700-mile fence. Chief Alina Weck will no longer appear on the sidelines of the University of Illinois football games because his character is considered outdated and demeaning to Native Americans. The school's new athletic mascot will be a blackjack dealer.
pretty racist. Not sure I was expecting any different. It was racist, and again, clearly angry, and openly made as a reaction to The Daily Show instead of trying to be its own thing. The two hosts were actors using different names because I guess they couldn't get anyone willing to play themselves, and it got canceled impressively fast. Or to quote one of their guests on the show, "I'm not saying it was short-lived, but William Henry Harrison's talking to a Victorian inventor about building a time-sewing machine. Am I right, Chachi? Am I right? Am I fucking right, Chachi? Am I right?" Anyway, you can see why it didn't work. Every bit came across as a retaliation more than a joke. Oh, we can't say certain things on the air now, but we don't care. We're gonna say them. To the reaction of cathartic forced laughs from the audience. The left has their comedy weapon, and now we have ours! And so on. And on top of the intent not serving comedy, one thing you'll notice on the show is a profound lack of comedians. Yes, I'm including Dennis Miller as one of the non-comedians. And in fact, they would often do, and this is fucking incredible, sketches or bits with political pundits or influencers instead of actual comedians.
Hi, I'm Dennis Prager, lover of fine Americana. The day America finally calls it quits in Iraq will be a day we'll all want to remember, and now you can. Thanks to the Road to Surrender commemorative plate series by the Frankfurt Mint. The Road to Surrender series is a magnificent collection of beautifully illustrated, signed, and numbered hand-fired plates, elegantly commemorating each step on America's road to humiliating defeat in Iraq.
Absolutely unreal. Along with fucking Dennis fucking Prager, they would do additional sketches with the likes of Laura Ingraham and Ann Coulter and Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh, comedy icon! And this is where I get to show you one of my favorite clips.
Well, let me say, I've yet to know of too many conservatives, which is where you put yourself, who are funny. I mean, it has to do with a humor that is transferable to everyday living.
I mean, I utterly disagree with that. I think there can be conservatives who are funny. Liberals may not find them funny.
All right.
I mean, okay, Ann Coulter for conservatives is funny. Okay, for liberals, she's not funny.
Beautiful. What's happening here is that because they see comedy exclusively as a political weapon, they're getting right-wing political pundits and then trying to teach them to be funny. Greg Gutfeld isn't a comedian, but rather the guy the people at Fox felt was the funniest person in their office. I haven't mentioned Mike Huckabee in any of this because he's just so transcendently bland that his name and face erase from your memory every time you think of him, like a Lovecraftian spell. But of course, he has an entire comedy talk show that is once again an attempt to retaliate against liberal comedy. I'm not going to show you a clip or talk about it at all. In fact, I'm not even sure who I was just talking about. Mike Judge? Something about throwing bees. Doesn't matter. If you're wondering why they don't just get one of those blue-collar comedy guys to do a show, it's because people like Jeff Foxworthy famously have no interest in politics. His comedy isn't political or mean. He was focused on ribbing rednecks, the thing he was, which is probably what made his comedy accessible in the first place. Coincidentally, that's not unlike early Tim Allen either, his persona being a big macho dummy in Home Improvement and his stand-up. And while Tim Allen doesn't have, good opinions, he's also gone on record of wanting to stay out of Trump-era politics. They were all comedians first. Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy are both dudes who have lived or worked in Los Angeles, getting their start doing comedy stuff with other comedians from many different backgrounds in politics. That lovable country boy Larry the Cable Guy is actually good friends with cynical city man Louis fucking Black. Larry isn't his real name, and the voice you know him for isn't even his actual accent. It's a character he does, like some kind of soy boy actor type.
How easily can you go in and out of it?
I can get into it easily, and I'm like I'm a linguist chameleon. I mean, I'll go to Wisconsin and I'll hang out with my cousin. Next thing you know, 2 days later, I'm talking like I'm from, Serona, Wisconsin, because all my cousins talk like that.
Now, this isn't to discredit them as conservatives or rednecks or whatever, and in fact, Larry there has gotten a bit off the rails lately with the COVID stuff. But generally speaking, most comedians are interested in comedy, and subsequently going where the comedy is. And this angry culture war MAGA bullshit is just not very funny. And so your choice is to either do transphobic bits for the huckaboner fun-time conservative retaliation hour, or you try to maintain the more folksy Christian persona and get seen by exactly nobody. Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Here's the evergreen end plate to ask you to like and subscribe. It's any day of the year where you are.